Hey y'all, welcome to my kitchen and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you stopped by. Today we're in the kitchen making something that I have never made before using an herb out of my garden. We're gonna be making comfrey salve. And I'm so excited because y'all, I actually buy this product and use it. And so the fact that I get a chance to make it myself, that I grew, is even extra special. So if you're brand new here, thank you for stopping by. And if you're not new here, welcome back. But I am Barbara. I live in Tennessee in Zone 7B. And on this channel, I talk about all things garden and homestead related. So we actually garden a whole lot, and then we bring stuff into the house, we cook it, and then we preserve it. And then I've gotten into making things that I'm using straight from the garden. So I want to talk a little bit about comfrey and why it is so useful and helpful and vital for you to have in your garden. So first of all, comfrey is a medicinal herb that is used to treat pain, bruises, joints, inflammation, all the things. So this is a product that I've used before. I've just never made it myself and didn't even know that I could. But I buy this product and it usually runs a good $15 to $20 for either like a little small tin or like a little 1 ounce jar. So it's pretty pricey, but it's very, very powerful. So I have arthritis and battle with arthritis a lot in the wintertime when the temperatures get really cold, my joints get really stiff. And it's just great for that. So any type of joint pain, muscle pain, inflammation, but also any type of wounds that need to be healed, bruises, burns, like it is a great all around medicinal herb that you can use as a salve, that you can buy as a salve that is really, really potent and powerful, and it's all natural. So if you've never tried comfrey salve before, I certainly encourage you to stick around and see how easy it's going to be. And again, I'm making it with you for the first time, but I looked at a few recipes and kind of have concocted my own, because y'all know how I do. I'm gonna take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we're gonna make it our own. So we're gonna make comfrey salve today. I'm gonna walk you through the process. And I would encourage you, if you have never tried it and you suffer with some of those issues, then I think it's good to have around in your house. And even if you don't suffer with joint pain and muscle irritation and things like that, somebody's always gonna get bruised, especially if you have kids, and somebody's gonna get burned. So it's just good to have in your house anyway. So let's talk about where we're gonna get started. And then I will, before the end of this video, I will share a little bit about how to grow comfrey, where I got my comfrey from, and all the good stuff, because it's not like you can just go get it or buy it, so to speak. So we're starting here with, and I have all of my supplies out, which is not very many supplies, but this right here is my comfrey oil that I am starting with. So a couple of things. I have comfrey that I'm growing in my garden, and so what I did before this step was I harvested my comfrey. I actually freeze dried it. And then I crumbled it up into leaves, and then I ground mine into a powder. So let me stop here. You do not have to grind into a powder. Basically, you can dehydrate your leaves either by air drying, by a dehydrator, or a freeze dryer, right? You just want it dry. Now, I ground mine up because at the time when I did it, I hadn't looked at any recipes, and I didn't know exactly how I was going to use it. Okay, so that's the reason why. But you can eliminate a step by not grinding it. As long as the leaves are dry and you have them crumbled up, you can start right here with me. Right, so the method that I use is that I let it infuse over 2 to 3 weeks. You do not have to do that. You can actually let it infuse for an hour and let it, get into some boiling water and let it infuse that way. And it has to steep for like an hour. I chose not to do it that way. One, because it's my first time. And for me, I'm like, I want to get all the benefits. And the day that I did it, I didn't have the time to actually steep it and make the salve that day. So it was just easier for me to go ahead and let it infuse on its own. So what I did was, I had my comfrey leaves that I had freeze dried, crumbled up, ground. I put them in a mason jar and I covered it with olive oil. That's all I did. I did this on July the 2nd. So at the time of this video, this has actually been infused for almost 4 weeks. Is how it's been infused. And it's just been, I put it in the back of my pantry in just a cool, dark place. That is all I did. It's just been sitting there hanging out. Now, if you don't let it infuse and you just do it on top of the stove, then obviously you would put it in oil. So you need some type of carrier oil. So olive oil, almond oil, something like that. I guess even you could probably use a coconut oil, but I used olive oil. And if you did it on the stove, you would put it in oil, let it steep and infuse for an hour. So now we're on that step. So because mine has infused in the jar, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to strain the comfrey leaves out so that I'll just have the oil. And you would do the same thing even if you're doing it on top of the stove right here within an hour. You would still need to strain the dried, crumbled up comfrey leaves out so that it just leaves you with oil. And I should have 2 cups of oil once this is said and done. So I have my strainer and my strainer right here. And you know what? Let's see if we can just, I might just do it right here with you and do a bowl. I was going to take it to the sink, but let's see if we can just do it right here so I can show you. Okay, so then I'll just have an extra step, but I'm just going to pour this out. And now you can see the comfrey is actually coming out. And let me put on my apron since I'm dealing with oil so I don't get anything on my blouse. Okay, so I'm just gonna press this to make sure we got all the oil and all of that goodness. You can see here at the back of my spoon what it looks like. I mean, comfrey is a dark green plant, so it just looks like dark green leaves that's been in oil. That's all it looks like. So I'm gonna remove this and then let me get a funnel. So let me get rid of that. And then I'm just gonna pour this back in here. So we have a little bit less than 2 cups. Let's pour it in here to get the exact amount. Okay, so we have about 1 1/4 cup, which is fine. We'll work with that. So the next time I do it, because I have a lot of comfrey in my garden, I'll probably do a quart-sized jar with oil. I know that's a lot of oil, but it'll make me a lot of comfrey salve. And I am going to actually sell this salve because, one, I think everybody should have some, and I know that sometimes it can be hard to find and hard to get, and it can be pretty pricey. So anyway, we're gonna pour this 1 1/4 quart oil into a pot on the stove that I have on low. And then we're going to add, this is where I come in and be extra because I can. I have some shea butter. This is 1 ounce of shea butter. So I'm gonna add this, I'm gonna start with 1/2 of 1 ounce. I'm gonna add that and let that melt in. And the reason why I'm adding the shea butter is because shea butter is going to be moisturizing. And so if you're thinking about if you have a bruise or something like that, I think the shea butter will be a nice soothing as well as the comfrey with the actual healing properties in it. Then we're gonna add in beeswax. So this is organic beeswax. You can find this in my Amazon shop as well. The shea butter came from Amazon, so I'll put that in my shop. That way you can just go straight to the link and buy it. I'm going to do about 1/4 of a cup to start with beeswax. If I had 2 cups, I was gonna do 1/2 a cup. So let's do 1/4 of a cup. And I have a 1/3 cup measuring. I ain't that particular, y'all know how I am. So we're gonna add that in. I'm gonna do just a little bit more. And then the very last thing, let me grab it. Another thing that you can add in place of the shea butter is vitamin E oil. And I actually have some vitamin E oil that I could have done. But I saw several recipes that had vitamin E oil in it, and then I saw some with shea butter, and I just used the shea butter. But the next thing I'm gonna add is just some lavender essential oil. That's just for smell, right? Again, I don't know, the comfrey doesn't smell bad, but a lot of the recipes had this in there, and so I'm gonna go with that. And so I'm gonna add like maybe 10 drops. Not exact science. And then all we're gonna do, y'all, is we're gonna let the beeswax melt and we're gonna stir it and keep it over low heat. So I'm gonna let this hang out a bit and let it start incorporating, and then I'll bring you back when we get to the point where it's melting and I'll show you the consistency. Okay, so while we're waiting on that, I thought I would come back on and talk about the comfrey that I promised in terms of where I got my comfrey. So two things, you can grow comfrey from a seed or you can grow from a cutting. So comfrey seed, you can order, and I'm trying to remember where I got my comfrey seed from. I don't remember, but it wasn't easy to find. I know that. But with comfrey seed, it's very hard for it to germinate. It can take up to a month to germinate. So I bought the comfrey seed. I was going to try that and get it germinated when I came across and was doing some more research, and I came across comfrey cuttings. And so this is what they look like. It came in a package like this. Again, you can kind of see it is a cutting from the root of the comfrey. So I was able to buy this from a farm earlier this season through a special program that I'm in. I'm an affiliate for Seedtime, and they offered the affiliates an opportunity to buy some different cuttings. It came through Seedtime, but it was from a farm, but it wasn't open to the public at the time. I think they're trying it out and they're gonna do it later on. So I don't have a source for you to get it in terms of where I got it from, but you probably can research in Google and find out where to get comfrey cuttings from. But the kind that I have is Bocking 14. You can see that here. And it came with 3 what they call crown divisions. Now, the next thing that I want to do is learn how to propagate my own comfrey, like so how I can get my own root cutting from my comfrey. I have not ventured into that yet, but trust me, it is coming. It is coming. So that way, if a friend of mine wanted some, that's local, I could gift it to them or sell it to them or whatever the case may be. But I bought a comfrey cutting and I originally put it in a pot. Let me tell you, it grew fast. Like and because you bury the cutting in the soil, within 2 to 3 days, I had leaves coming up. Like it was just that fast. And within a week, it had almost taken over the entire pot. So then I moved it from a pot over to one of my circular raised beds, and you can see like it's huge. It is absolutely huge and growing. So I harvested this that we're doing today. Let me stir this. I harvested it probably, like I said, a month or so ago, and it's already doubled in size and big again. So again, that's where I got my comfrey from. It is also great as a fertilizer for your garden. It is full of nitrogen, and so you can actually chop comfrey leaves and put them in your garden as a fertilizer as well. So all of the beeswax and stuff have melted. I don't know if you can see that there. All of it has melted. So now we're just going to test the consistency that we want. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit and test the consistency. Okay, y'all. So look. That is the salve. So when I said we wanted to test the salve, so what I did was I just dipped my spoon into the liquid mixture that we have on the stove, and I put it in the freezer for 5 minutes. I set the timer for 5 minutes. I just pulled it out. This is the consistency that it will be. So if you like the consistency, we can go ahead and jar it up, which is what we're about to do. If you did not like the consistency, all you would do is add in more beeswax, and that's gonna get the consistency. Because when you're looking at it, it's just liquid now, right? It's just liquid, but it's going to firm up. But you may be thinking, is it gonna be the consistency that I want before I pour it up? Well, that's how you test it. Just get your spoon, dip it in there. It's almost like when if you do canning, when you're testing to see if your jelly has set, it's the same method. Just put a spoon into the salve mixture, put it in the freezer for 5 minutes. You can see that it gelled up. This is a good consistency that I want. Y'all! Woohoo! We did it, y'all. Okay. Y'all know how I am. Okay, so I'm gonna put mine in these little tins. You could put it in some glass mason jars or something like that. So let's see how many we get. I bought them and they come in these little tins like this. Oh, screw top. Just like that. Let's see how many ounces this is. I also got this off Amazon as well. 2 ounces. Okay, perfect. So let's see how many we get. Okay, y'all, I get so excited, so excited. Let me grab a towel just in case we make a mess with it being poured. Y'all, do y'all see how easy that was? Do you see? Okay, so let's pour this in here. Okay, I don't like that method. Let me put back in here and then pour it from, I don't like pouring it from the pot. Let's pour it. This is a good thing I got the towel. Ooh. Okay, I think we're gonna be able to make a lot, y'all. Okay, let me get my stuff lined up. Okay, y'all, I'm just gonna keep filling these up and let's see how many we get. Okay, y'all, I got 8 out of the deal. That's pretty good. That is really good. So I guess if I wasn't selling it, 16 ounces would be a lot. Now, the recipe says it's good for up to a year or past that in terms of the healing properties. Again, I think a tin like this would not last you. I mean, you would use it up within a year. I don't know that I would want to have, as an individual, 16 ounces of Comfrey Salve. I think that would be a bit too much. So I'm trying to think. I guess you could reduce the amount. So what we ended up with 1 1/4 cup of Comfrey oil. So you can take that, and you saw how many tins we got, and these are 2-ounce tins. So you can see if you don't want that much, then you can do less. But y'all, it feels so good. So this is from the spoon. So basically what I'm letting it do now is I'm letting it firm up before I put the lids on. So right now it's still liquid. So we'll see how long it takes. Let me see what time it is. We'll see how long it takes to firm up. It shouldn't take long because in the freezer, this was like 5 minutes. So I would think in 15 minutes or so, this stuff will be firmed up and then we can put the lid on it. But y'all, I want you to see. So when I put it on, can you see that? You can kind of see the texture and how it's blending into the skin, so to speak, here. And that's basically, I mean, that's what you want a salve to do, is to kind of blend into the skin, just like that. I like it. I like it, I like it, I like it. So I'll bring you back. I'm gonna see how long it takes to firm up, and then we'll put the lids on, and y'all, we're done, just like that. So I wanna just take a moment before, as I'm letting this firm up, I wanna take a moment. This was so easy, like super, super easy. Anybody can do it. Y'all, do you realize I have spent $20 a pop buying this stuff for the last couple of years? Like, I've never found it for less than $15. If you have, let me know. But I spent the money because I like natural things, and it is well worth it. But y'all, I just grew this in my garden. I think that the Comfrey cuttings that I bought, I got 3 for $21. I'm almost positive that was the price. And I only used one of the cuttings, right? That's it. I only used one of the cuttings. So the plants that you've seen in my garden is from one cutting. The point is, I spent $20. Let's just say I spent $7, really, for one plant, because that's all I did, because 3 divided by 21 is 7. I spent $7, and I just made me 8 tins of Comfrey that retail is about $15 to $20 each. So I'm going to sell this just because we have a shop and we're selling, we're building up things that we're selling in our shop. So if you're not familiar with our shop, just go to Living Foods Farm. So we sell produce to our local community, but things that we do ship are things that are not perishable. We have sourdough starter that is from my starter that's dehydrated. We do elderberry syrup, we do jalapeno salt, and now we'll be having the Comfrey Salve. The elderberry syrup, we're actually going to be switching that product over to, it's still going to be elderberry, but it's going to be in a different form and package, because we can get it to you a lot better because elderberry syrup, because we don't put any preservatives in it, it's not shelf stable for more than 30 days or so. You put it in the refrigerator, it's good again for about 60 days, but it's not going to last in your on your shelf or in your refrigerator from this winter to next winter, because it doesn't have any preservatives in it. So we're going to be actually doing our elderberry and what we offer in that regard. So anyway, that's why I'm selling it, because we have a shop, because I want to make sure that people who want access to good, healthy stuff, they have access to it. So I'm going to bring you back when this is firmed up and we'll put the lids on. Okay, y'all, we're back and it's done. Just like that. So let me show you what one looks like. That's it right there. Completely done, just like that. So that probably took, the last time I looked, it's been 30 minutes, but it might have been done. I went out to the garden and I was out there for like 15 minutes. So it might have done it somewhere in that process, but no more than 30 minutes. Let's just say that. If I had to guess, probably 20 or so. Just like that, y'all, it's easy. So easy. So easy. So I would encourage you, if you have never tried this before and you're growing comfrey and you're buying Comfrey Salve, definitely go ahead and make your own. It's just that easy. If you do not grow comfrey, but you want to grow comfrey, I'm gonna see if I can find a resource for you guys about where to buy it. And if so, I will put it in my description or put it up here at the top for you to get your own comfrey cuttings. And then I will look and see where my seed came from as well. But I would encourage you to grow some comfrey in your yard. It's a great fertilizer, if nothing else, and it's great for your garden. But make you some Comfrey Salve. It is just that easy. We basically used, 3 ingredients? The comfrey, the olive oil, the beeswax, I guess a couple more. We use the shea butter, which is optional, and we use the lavender oil, which is optional. All you really need is the comfrey, the beeswax, and the carrier oil. That's it. And just like that, y'all, we have 8 beautiful tins of Comfrey Salve. So thank you guys so much for meeting me in the kitchen today and going on this journey for the first time with me. I know it takes some bravery. Like, I had never made, I'm gonna make it with them, make it with my friends. And I did, and it turned out well. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. We do stuff like this all the time. DIY, cooking your own food from scratch, and we're out in the garden a lot, humping and getting it. Absolutely. So I would love to see you as a part of the community. Remember that gardening is a journey. This is part of it. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.